Hey guys, what's going on? It's Azure coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. I am joined back again by Skratch AK47. Skratch, what's up, man? How you doing?
Welcome back. What's up, man?
Not much.
Thank you.
Not much. What do you think of these new Doom Tower bosses, man?
Man, they're a pain to deal with, honestly. I feel like they're super hardcore, especially the Griffin one.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a good challenge there. A lot of people.
Were you able to take down? I mean, I'm sure you are, but like, what team did you use to take down the Griffin on the first floor or whatever?
I haven't done it on my account. I've only done it on the test server, like literally the highest I could have done, and that's it. I haven't done it on my account, so probably I'm gonna skip today on my account, honestly.
There you go.
Just, be delayed.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I just went total like pay to win. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make sure I can beat it first, and then I'll worry about trying to optimize the team. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to actually talk about the worst Void champions in the game. We're both gonna give our top 5 picks for epic Void champions that we think really need a buff. And Skratch, you know that there's gonna be like a big Void rebalancing coming to the game, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's the news,
hopefully,
right?
Yeah, hopefully they will be including epics in that as well, because a lot of epics, man, they're just not getting used. They gotta give them some love, you know. All these new champions coming out, they require 20, 30 books, going crazy, you know, but they gotta show some love to some of the older epics that have potential to be used in the game, and they're owned by so many people. So Platinum, just do one for the community, buff some of the old epics, please.
Right? The power creep is a real thing inside this game, Skratch, and it feels like some of them that were kind of borderline maybe a year ago, now they're just like, eh. And some of these champions that we talk about too, they don't seem awful on paper, but they just don't have a spot in the game, is something that we kind of talked about a little bit when getting this list together. So do you want to kick it off with your first worst epic Void rare? What the heck are you?
Who is that sad little person?
I'm all good for it. Let's go.
Do it.
I'm gonna start first with the Dwarf though. I actually made a video on him ages ago. He just doesn't seem to find his place in the game. His base stats are pretty awful. Low speed, super low defense, like 683, like a rare champion. Then he has decent HP, right? So base stats, he's a kind of a 5 looking at him. With all that high HP doesn't mean that much, right? So
whoa, what is this?
He has a heal reduction on the A1, double hit, right? Let's just say decent for the Fire Knight. But then all the rest of his skill with a counter attack just doesn't seem to make him good anywhere in the game. So when somebody pulls this champion, it doesn't get excited at all, right? Like,
no,
nobody wants to use him. They're just gonna chuck him in the vault and pray that maybe one day he's gonna be used in a fusion, because he just doesn't bring anything to the table compared to rare champions or some of the other epic non-void champions out there, you know, that they have much better kit overall.
Yeah, you know what? Interesting that you mentioned him, because I agree with you, man. I feel like he's a champion that for a while people were just like, yeah, he's good for Fire Knight. But you know what? I think we're beyond that point right now in the game, Skratch, where just because you have a multi-hitter on your A1 and like heal reductions somewhere in your kit, it doesn't necessarily make you a Fire Knight beast. He does have the self counter attack, but still, you can do so much better than him for Fire Knight. I mean, Cold Heart, right? I mean, I'm picking one of the best in the game, but still, this is not a guy that you get excited for, right? Kind of like Lordly Legionnaire, but Void.
Pretty much, yeah. Not at all. So even though he has a lot of multi-hits, he's just not as good for Fire Knight. Super slow animations, super low defense. So the boss, if the boss manages to actually slam that shield on you, you're kind of ended. So maybe do something from here. Buff his accuracy, his defense
yeah,
from his passive next to the counter attack. Add a shield on him from the damage he deals, or something to give him a bit of survivability as well. Definitely boost a bit the base stat on that defense. A bit of speed maybe would be good, but something to be a bit more exotic, you know, rather than just simple key that nobody wants to use, you know.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who uses this guy, but I'm sure somebody will let us know about it in the comments below. Let's see. People tend to like him, I guess. I mean, obviously, we know they can't read really anything into the in-game reviews, but people tend to like him, I guess, in Fire Knight. But I don't know. Again, to your point, like maybe back a year or two ago, people liked him in Fire Knight. Now, I don't know. I agree with you. He needs a buff. All right, so my first champion who I want to give a big buff to is... It's this champ. I forgot what Azure even does, Skratch. You know?
I had him on my list as well, actually.
Oh, I think this is the only champion we both had on our list, right? So this one counts for 2. So Azure, man, we both forgot what he did. We're like, what does he do again? Like, who uses Azure?
This is fine.
So he has a 1 enemy 2 time on the A1. We do have a 30% chance of a stun, but to me, that's kind of like the... to me, that's kind of like the best part of his kit, right? And it's just a 2-time chance of a stun, and you can't even book up that chance even more. Like, look at all these wasted books on his kit on his A1. Yikes!
I know, right?
6 levels of damage, and then we have the ally protect with a shield on himself. Okay, there's so many ally protect champions inside the game now, and then you have a 3-turn cooldown. The scales on attack and HP. 1 enemy, extra hit if it has stun that's always critical, and steals turn meter if they're not under the stun, which again isn't bad for a year and a half ago maybe, but now I feel like Skratch for we both have this champion on our list. So for me, I feel like a void epic champion. Yeah, maybe you can. He's one of those champions that you pull and you almost try to talk yourself into him, right? You're like, you know what? I think I can get some use out of this dude, but nah, inevitably you're like, okay, he's not that good.
Yeah, in another century, probably. Yeah, a lot of champions are being left behind, but I've always disagreed with this idea of having champions like, he's a HP based champion, he deals damage on his A1 based on attack, then on the A3 based on attack and HP. I never really liked this idea, like super low base attack, decent amount of HP honestly, but sticking this sort of a mixing the damages together is so bad because you can never really get the right stats on your champion. Either you go full HP, either you go full attack, just let me go one way with it, you know? And definitely this ally protection would be nice to go on a 3-turn cooldown. Place that shield maybe on everybody, make it a bit different. The A3, again, just a stun on a single target. Still a bit of turn meter, is honestly nothing too insane. A1 as well, 1 enemy 2 times, 30% chance to stun. If you have a speed buff, yeah, you have 100% chance, but then it kind of makes you dependable of other champions, and I really don't like that sort of idea. So probably just give me this on a 3-turn cooldown, the ally protection, be able to use him somewhere, and give me shield for all the team, so I can focus a lot of HP on the champion to be able to run him in dungeons for progression and sort of stuff like that, you know.
I agree 100%. To me, that's the fix. Take Aegis ability, his A2, turn this into a 3-turn cooldown, and then, you know, he has the base HP, he has an HP aura as well. You can put him in a shield set, and then he has like some utility, right? Ally protect, a self shield, and then you could throw him in a shield. Good progression champion. So I think that's the fix. I agree with you. Okay, absolutely. Next up, who do you have next?
So next one is everybody's favorite, or non-favorite actually to say like this, is Broadman, right? So we have the fusion. Everybody tends to kind of hate to use the champion. I don't mind him that much, honestly. It's very niche in some sort of particular area, especially if you're running him with Seer, you don't have a Massily mage. Yeah, because of the increased crit rate buff, Seer is instantly gonna use the A3 there, so you don't have to throw on horror 2000 buffs in order to do it without the crit rate. But I feel like he needs a bit of a heal in his kit, some sort of a passive maybe, or just something to sustain the team after he revives, or give him a full revive on all the team. Increase the HP that he revives the dead allies with, or if you leave them random, decrease it to a 4-turn cooldown maybe, up to 75% HP and block damage on them. 25% is really not a lot, and as soon as you revive them, that block damage goes off, your champions will go dead again, you know, so it's pretty hard.
Before they even get a turn. I agree with you there. So this is a dumb question, Skratch, but how come he has the heal? Is it just the 25% you can boost on that heal? Is that why you level up the heal there? Because it's not healing.
Yeah, it's not healing. It's basically you're going to revive him with, what's that? 30% of the 25% HP you're going to revive more. So what's that? 30% of 25% is almost nothing, right? So it's super low. It's going to be like around 30% HP.
Total.
Yeah. And make this increase speed a 30% rather than a 15%. And I think he will be a much better option. Maybe change the aura from arena as well. Not many people use him in arena, you know, so make it like all battles or something, dungeons. Then people will start using him early on for progression because it's so easy to actually put your hand on him to fuse him, you know. So I feel like he's being left behind because his kit is pretty bad. Nobody wants to fuse him. I remember when this fusion dropped in, everybody was like, what? This champion, the worst champion you could give us for the fusion, you know?
Yeah. Now, I actually agree with you on Broadmaw. The only reason I built him is just for that Lizardman Doom Tower secret room or whatever, you know? And honestly, there he was handy because it was a reviver and, you know, these increased speed baby version of it, you know, that's useful, I guess, when you have nobody else, no other options on your team. However, with all that said, I agree with you, Skratch. I feel like, man, like what a weird kit having the freeze on the A1, then having kind of gift. Like you said, if that was a 30% increased speed, I think he would be a viable champion, right? That's all you. That's all he needs, in my opinion. You want more though, right? You want like a Gorgorab type revival as well.
Yeah, just to be good for progression because he's so accessible for the player base.
This is true. This is true. I like that you picked somebody who was a an accessible champion as well, because those are the type of champions that we need to kind of focus on. People, champions that are easy to get.
Absolutely.
Okay, so next up, I have on my list Sawai Firstborn. So I Firstborn, very curious on what you think of her. I know her multipliers are not that good. So although she does have the decreased defense on the A1 and the weaken on the A3, albeit on a 4-turn cooldown, she's not bringing much else to the table. She has a second hit if the first attack is critical on Utter Rampage. But for a skill like Utter Rampage, you'd really think it would hit hard, but I don't think she deals enough damage to justify building her out. And I'm not sure it justifies building her out just for a weaken on a separate on a 4-turn cooldown that's separate from the decrease defense. What about you, Skratch?
Yeah, honestly, if she would have slightly better multipliers, she would be a bit better. Now, if is honestly like your worst case scenario, like for a Barrier comp to have a defense down and weaken on a Relentless set, sort of teams where Relentless can work in clan boss.
Okay.
As your last choice,
So if you had to basically, if someone forced you to find a use for her, that would be it. Relentless set, clan boss, so you have the chance at keeping up the weaken and the decreased defense on the clan boss.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not a bad
that would
idea.
be honestly the whole thing. She doesn't hit too hard either, so she's a bit.
Yeah, I mean, and even this Utter Rampage, I hate the last sentence there. This attack will always be a normal hit, right? Like her kit's not that OP that you need to restrain the extra hit being a critical. So again, she's getting an AoE attack. That's great, but it's dealing 80% of the damage and it's not a critical hit. That kind of sucks. To me, just make it an AoE attack. I mean, there's so many champions who have really good AoE attacks in this game, right? I mean, just make her one of them. She is a Void after all. And some of you guys might be watching the video right now and saying, these champions aren't that bad, but these are Voids, man. Like, these are supposed to be very, very special to pull. Think of how much more challenging, how much more difficult it is to get a Void, to get your hands on a Void shard as opposed to an Ancient shard, right? They should be exponentially better champions. So that's the why. Who you got next?
I have next Towering Titan, right? So he's been used in so many fusion, this guy. But no love, right? Nobody wants him. He has an insane amount of HP, right? Like base stats HP, he's awesome. Defense is pretty low and speed, but then he's an epic. Let's just say that's fine. But just his kit overall just doesn't offer much as well. That's why kind of people, they don't like him. We have the defense down on the A1 on a 55% chance, which sounds pretty decent, right? On a single target. Then we have 4 times at random with a 60% chance to land a provoke. Like, either give me an AoE with that chance for a Void. Like, how many rares we have?
I can do that.
Not rares, sorry. How many epics non-Void we have that they have a much higher chance to land a provoke on their skill AoE? Like, we have so many now in the game, right? So, and even rares that they do this better. So just make this either a 75% chance AoE, either 4 times at random, 100% chance to do it. Like, let me just have a use for this guy here. He has super good base HP, so they should make something with him.
Yeah, man. Like I feel with Towering Titan now that I read his entire kit over. It's been a while. I feel like he's right there, right? He's right there on being close to a viable, usable champion worth building. To your point, I feel like making flailing an AoE, making it either or 100% land rate. Again, it is on a 3-turn cooldown, so that's cool, but let's make it just an AoE. I hate the 4 times at randoms, man. I hate the random attacks.
Absolutely.
And then even on his A3, like getting the strong version of increased defense for 2 turns is fantastic. Then he's healing himself. He's shielding himself as well. I feel like either touching this provoke ability and making that consistent land, or making this a 3-turn cooldown, the bullish vitality, right? So that way you can use him as kind of just an increased defense support type champion with a little bit of CC added to his kit. I think that's pretty cool, but to your point, he's just like one little thing off of being actually viable and worth building.
Yeah, and definitely change that damage based on attack, because his base attack is 700. Like, he's not gonna deal any sort of damage like this. Let me have damage based on that beautiful amount of HP there, so
right?
I can make
Doesn't he feel like
him.
He feels like he should be an HP based champion, man? All right.
100%, man. 100%.
All right, I'm going to pick on a champion that you might like. I don't know how you feel about this one.
Let's see.
She was an Amazon Prime champion back in the day, and it's Whisper. So Whisper is a champion that I do want to mention before I start ragging on her, that she can deal a lot of damage, man. She hits like really hard with it. It's the Unyielding Flurry, excuse me, that hits really hard, or is it the Charge Assault?
Overall, all her kit hits pretty hard, honestly.
Okay. I think it's the Charge Assault that can do like, I'm not sure which one, but it can do like 250k damage to like clan boss, or not clan boss, to like dragon or whatnot, which is cool. But this is kind of, I was specifically talking about her at the top of the video when talking about champions that, like, yeah, I guess when they were added to the game, and she was free if you have Amazon Prime, when she was introduced, she was a cool champion. But I feel like a lot of people built her, myself included, with that same feeling of like, yeah, she looks like a really good champion. And then I don't know anybody who actually uses her, one of those champions that you talk yourself into her. So what about you? How do you feel about Whisper?
I never built one, honestly.
Oh, okay.
I haven't found a use for her. I knew she deals damage, but then I had 20 other champions that deal damage and do better stuff. Now, they don't look as good as her, but
no.
they deal So I kind of skipped on her. I do have one in my vault. I got her with Amazon
I should just stop overthinking it.
Prime as well. Now, once they nerf Relentless, she kind of got that nerf, with her kit overall. She felt pretty good on Relentless, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I had a Relentless myself when I did a build on her, like whatever, a long time ago when she was released. However, again, you just hit the nail on the head, man. She's a Void champion, supposed to be special, supposed to be really good, and she's just redundant, Even on the, Unyielding Flurry, attacks one enemy 2 times on a 5-turn cooldown, man, You do get the extra turn if the target is under decreased defense and weaken. But it's just like, how many people out there own Lydias and Dracomorphs and Venuses and whatever,
Just add her defense down in the kit.
Right?
Absolutely. If they do that on the A2 on a 3-turn cooldown with the
then
A1,
she has them both.
Weaken,
Yeah.
She's gonna be fine then, because then she's so viable for bad eaters, for example, better than any of the rest, because she does it much harder than them, and to have defense down and weaken and extra chances from her own kit to get extra hits, man, that would be sweet, honestly. That would be honestly the only thing I would have to change. Give her a defense down on the A2.
100%, man. Then it actually has the synergy that you're looking for. Because right now you're looking at her kit and you're like, okay, cool. Like this, and then you're like, wait a second, she doesn't put decreased defense anywhere, does she? So, okay.
She's never gonna get that turn.
Yeah, she's never gonna get an extra turn. All right, so there we go. That is Whisper. Who do you got next, man?
Man, my next one is, I kind of like this champion, but I feel like she's a bit behind compared with the rest of the champions. So we have Battle Sage here on the list. Like, she's a sweet champion. She does a pretty good amount of stuff, different things compared to other cleansers, but in this kind of a meta with so much freeze everywhere, and we have hegemons, but mainly like all the freeze from Tormins and all the rest of the champions. So many debuffers in the game, right? I feel like just having that cleans with attack up is just not enough. I wish like she would have a block debuffs as well, even if it's only for one turn next to that increased attack, right? To, let's just say, let's not break her, make her super overpowered, but to have even immunity for one turn on that A2 of hers, and these places revive on that, make it on all the team, and like she needs that. She really needs that, you know. Make it for 2 turns on all the team, and
yeah,
let us have it.
Yeah, it's interesting because Battle Sage, I mean, while I agree with you, outside Arena, like, I don't see anybody really building Battle Sage, right? I mean, but for Arena, if you don't have like Cardio or a Skytouch Shaman or, you know, all the cleansers, I feel like, you know, you could definitely build her out just for Nature's Touch. It'd be so much cooler if, like, Skytouch Shaman, her A3, she has a Revive on Death on one ally. If she just put that on Nature's Touch, or like Skytouched, or to your point, a block debuff for 1 turn, I agree. Having a little bit extra on Nature's Touch would make her way more appealing, in my opinion. But I do think she's worth building if you don't have another kind of, you know,
yeah, if you don't
cleanser.
have, but
yeah,
absolutely. But if you kind of compare her with the rest of them that we have, like we got so many now.
Yeah,
I feel like she's a bit behind them, and she's a void, right?
You.
So I kind of want her to be at the level with the non-voids ones at least, you know.
No, that's perfect sense. And again, we just got to keep reminding ourselves she's a void champion, you know? So she ought to be really special. All right, I'm just going to take one trip over to the right and give you Exemplar. She's my high elf choice here. And Exemplar, man, again, very slow champion with pretty low defense, really low HP as well. So she's squishy. And you look at that base attack at 1509, you think to yourself, okay, she must hit like an absolute truck. Sadly, not really the case. She hits moderately hard, you know? So she has an extra chance of the of a third attack on the A1. All right. She's a 3-time at random with the weaken, which actually isn't that bad because it's a 2-turn cooldown when booked, but it doesn't hit that hard. And then her capture, again, is just a 1 target on a 4-turn cooldown with a freeze and block cooldown. To me, again, leaves me wanting a lot more, not a little more, a lot more, you know? I like the 2-turn cooldowns. I like the 3-time, but like if they made this a 4-time at random or just reworked her entire capture, I don't know, man. I can't get excited about another single target damage dealer in this game who's slow and squishy, you know?
No, not at all. There's so many out there.
Yeah.
Honestly, like she needs, I would completely rework her kit or make her viable towards something more specific rather than nothing, you know?
Yeah, like what does Plarium want with her? Do they want to make her an arena? I think they want her to be an arena specialist because she has the crit rate in arena battles and then she has the block cooldown skills and the freeze. Like these are all abilities that we see, you know, utilized mostly in the arena, but it's a 1 enemy, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but she doesn't really seem to get in there, you know, like she doesn't fit in arena. I wouldn't 6-star her even if they pay me to do it.
Dude,
honestly,
if you want a single target damage dealer in the arena, bro, what do you care about freeze and block cooldown skills? You want them to kill
exactly.
You know, the target.
I wouldn't waste accuracy on it. Not at all.
No. All right, so that's Exemplar. I don't know. Let me know if any of you guys disagree on any of these champions. Let me know, but I think Exemplar needs a big buff, personally. All right.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to hear what the guys they have to say in the comments there.
Yeah.
Let us know, guys. Do you agree with us? You disagree? What sort of buffs you would do to other champions, if no? Because we do want to know. Eventually, we are hoping that Plarium will actually buff some of the champions that all of us want to use, you know?
Yeah. So you have one more, right? Or no?
No, that's it. That was it for me. I started actually. Yeah.
Oh, did I do? Oh, I have one more. Yeah, you're right. Because we both used Azure. There we go. There it is. All right. So I have one more, and it's actually one of the newer Void epic champions in the game. Not this latest batch, but I think 1 or 2 before that. And it's Harkin Greatblade. Harkin Greatblade is a champion that I was like, okay, when I first looked at her kit, I was like, she has some promise here. On her A1, extra hit if the attack is critical, whatever. On the A2, has a weaken. But again, this is on a 4-turn cooldown on 1 enemy. Chance of placing a weaken. Like, okay. And then she has really what's supposed to be the highlight of her kit is Infectious Panic, which attacks one enemy, applies a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs, placing them on all enemies, also extends the duration of those debuffs by 2 turns. It will not extend the duration of debuffs on the initial target. So that, since you can't extend the duration of debuffs on the initial target, makes her moot for clan boss, can't use her there. And then, so like, why do you, are we, is that what the game needed, Skratch? Are we desperate for a debuff spread in what? Like, you know, Spider?
I mean, you could do some sort of things with her. I haven't tested her with bombs, for example, like, let's just say Vizier.
Bombs,
But that's the thing, because I haven't tested her, but if it increases the duration of bombs, that's bad, you know, because we don't want that to happen. We don't want that to happen. So I'm not sure if he's doing it to bombs as well, but if she's doing it to bombs as well, she literally has no use at all then, you know?
That is true. That is true. What do you, yeah, you're like, okay, I spread the bombs, not to wait 2 more turns for them to
to explode, right?
Explode, yeah. So a Harkin Great Blade, the only thing she does have going for her is the multiplier on this blooded steel, the A1. I want to say it's like a top 5 multiplier in the game on an A1. So for me, it's like, okay, I mean, she's got that going for her, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't justify building her in any sense of the word, in my opinion, at least. I don't know what we would even do to make her better, man. Like add decreased defense on the A2. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. Might as well, right?
That would be nice, and then on the A3 probably get rid of that. Does not increase it on the target.
Yes.
You know? So let me increase the duration on the target as well, because then I could make her viable for clan boss with defense down and weaken on 4-turn cooldown. That on a 4-turn cooldown as well, more or less. Somehow, again, probably some barrier teams or something like that where we can use Relentless. We might find a use for her there, but I'm not even too sure about that either, you know.
Yeah, you're trying to talk yourself into it. You're like, I think
I'm kind of like at that point, you know, with her.
Dude.
Like, I don't know, man.
She's bad, man. I pulled her on my free to play, and there's no way I was gonna build her. I'm just like, yeah, right, man. Like, I'm not gonna invest the resources into this. And I'm surprised.
It doesn't even look good.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I mean, she looks good though, right?
I mean, I don't know. She's more of a budget look.
What do I have to do to make you see?
Okay, got you. So I will give an honorable mention though, because we both mentioned her like preparing for this video, and it's Rowan, right? And we only gave 9 because we both had Azure, and I'm probably going to title the video 10. So Rowan is a champion that we both kind of talked about. They did give her a pretty decent buff about a year ago or so, but I still don't think it's enough. The only thing she has going for her is she's very fast at 108 speed. But, you know, very squishy at 694. What is she, an uncommon on the defense? She does damage based on speed. Like, I hate champions. To your point, I hate champions like that, you know?
I know, right?
She does have the 50% stun now on the A2, which is cool to see. But I don't know. I still think she needs a little bit more. I don't really see people using Rowan. What about you?
No, actually, the other day I saw somebody saying that he's using Rowan in clan boss, and then somebody quickly was like, why are you using that? You can use Kale better, you know? They were like, why are you wasting Rowan? So I feel like Rowan really needs that A3 man on 100% chance to land the poisons. Like, make her similar with Eotar or something like that, you know?
Because like you look at these poison champions now, it's like they're a dime a dozen, I feel like, you know? So, let's put her on par. Yeah, let's put her on par with the other poison dealers for clan boss at the very least, because her kit does kind of scream. Well, it doesn't scream clan boss, does it? Like the rest of her kit doesn't.
The rest doesn't. The rest it kind of focuses towards Fire Knight, honestly.
Fire Knight,
but then we have increased accuracy for faction crits. Like, just let her all battles 50. He's an epic void champion, you know, like.
Yeah. And
Frozen Banshee has a better aura, you know? And she's a rare champion. Like, come on. Show epics some love. There's so many bad epics in the game.
That is true. So we have our wish list. Who did we forget, guys? Let us know in the comments below. Which Void epic champion did we not mention? Who you're really looking for a buff for? And hey, Skratch, we're actually going to go record a video on your YouTube channel. So we'll have that linked for you guys as well. Make sure you go subscribe to Skratch AK47. Great content. You upload like every day, at least once, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Trying
daily.
to keep up the step with every day.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
A pleasure. Peace out.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. I appreciate you guys, and as always, take care, guys.